Every year, thousands of people are falsely or illegally arrested in the United States, yet many of them never receive a penny for the financial damage done to their lives. Bail cost, missed work, legal fees, medical bills, it all falls on the victim. Why? Because the only path to compensation right now is to hire a lawyer and file a state or federal lawsuit. That process is slow, expensive, unpredictable, and usually not even worth the effort unless there's a big payout at the end, which means many victims simply give up. Meanwhile, cities, counties, and states spend millions of dollars defending lawsuits they are hit with for illegal or false arrests. They hire outside law firms by the hour, paying enormous legal fees, dragging cases out for years, and passing the cost on to taxpayers with no accountability. Today, I'm going to show you some real numbers, specifically from South Carolina, because that's where I live, and explain a new law that's being proposed that could fix this broken system and become a model for the entire country. I don't know why anyone would refuse to enact this law, as it benefits everyone. Let's start with what is actually being paid out right now in South Carolina. And this is just one state. The same problems exist nationwide. Using public records from the South Carolina Insurance Reserve Fund, the IRF, who only covers less than half, that's 119 out of 271 cities and towns, we know false arrest payouts for fiscal year 2024 was $3.87 million. In fiscal year 2025, for the first 3 quarters, it was $2.54 million. Now, that's millions of dollars taken away from roads, schools, emergency services, public programs, or officer training, and redirected into lawsuits, all paid by South Carolina taxpayers. Now, these numbers come directly from the Comptroller General's website because the IRF does not publish them on their own website. Here's the part that shocked me the most. When I went back to just one quarter, the second quarter of 2021, I found the following. There were 28 false arrest claims paid out, 4 of them for one city. Total paid out by the IRF, $2.25 million. IRF paid their lawyers $713,000. At around 50%, victims paid their lawyers approximately $770,000. Total payout to lawyers, approximately $1.5 million out of the $2.25 million. The average time to resolve a claim was 3 years, with 11 claims being 4 to 9 years old. But here's the kicker. In 2 of these cases, one 8 years old and one 9 years old, lawyers were paid a total of $193,000 by the IRF. That's for 2 cases. The victims receiving only $85,000 total. Again, total to all lawyers, about $235,000, with the victims keeping only about $42,500. This system financially rewards dragging cases out, not resolving them quickly. The IRF pays lawyers and law firms up to $175 an hour, plus expenses, to fight these lawsuits. The longer they take, the more they earn. Victims, they get whatever is left. This is why I call it lawyer welfare. The real problem? Many false arrests still go unreported or unchallenged. Many people don't sue because they can't afford a lawyer. Lawyers won't take small or straightforward cases as they don't see a pot of gold at the end. The system is too slow and intimidating. Meanwhile, officers who make false or illegal arrests rarely pay anything. Cities don't pay directly. Departments don't pay directly. Everything gets dumped into the IRF, which means taxpayers pay for the mistakes. Departments face no direct financial consequences, so nothing changes. And here's something most people don't know. that I believe is a huge cause of illegal arrest. South Carolina officers receive only 8 weeks of academy training, plus 4 weeks at their department. The U.S. average is 21 weeks of academy training. That lack of training has real consequences. In researching solutions, I discovered a bill introduced in Montana in 2021, House Bill 596, which attempted to compensate people harmed, including false arrest. The compensation formula was 2 days or less, 4 times the bail amount. More than 2 days, 4 times the daily wages per day of false arrest, or the state's average wage, whichever is more. The bill hasn't passed yet, but it inspired elements of what I'm proposing. Now let's talk about the proposed law for South Carolina, which I am proposing. A new law is being introduced in the upcoming legislative session that creates a fast and fair administrative process, not a lawsuit, for people falsely or illegally arrested. What it does, it compensates victims quickly without going to court. Covers bail costs, lost wages, medical bills, legal fees, and more. Holds departments and cities more financially accountable, like the city that had 4 false arrests in one quarter that taxpayers statewide had to pay for, almost $300,000. Holds officers partially accountable for compensation when they illegally arrest someone. And it holds supervisors even more accountable for compensation when they are involved with an illegal arrest. It reduces reliance on the insurance reserve fund, saves taxpayers money, possibly millions. When the cost of payouts costs cities more than training, it will encourage better and more training, more supervision, and fewer wrongful arrests. This would be the first law of its kind in the United States. Now, let's talk about who benefits from this law. First of all, the public. There's clear accountability for officers and agencies. Lower lawsuit payouts equals lower taxes. Faster compensation restores trust in law enforcement accountability. Protects people who can't afford lawyers. Prevents long-term financial harm from false arrests. Encourages use of no-cost body cam footage to verify what happened. Next are the cities, counties, and the state. There's fewer lawsuits to defend, lower legal expenses, more predictable budgeting, stronger community trust, more training instead of litigation. How about law enforcement officers? What's their benefits? More state-funded training, fewer personal lawsuits, clearer rules for what is and isn't a lawful arrest, better public perception and trust, caps on personal liability, $350 for officers, $750 for supervisors, reduce stress from years-long court battles, and finally, the victims or the plaintiffs. Fast compensation, no expensive legal process, less risk of a claim being thrown out, an option to decline compensation and still file a lawsuit, financial stability restored quickly, and no lawyers are required. In closing, false arrests should not bankrupt innocent people. They should not drain taxpayer money. They should not enrich law firms more than victims. And they should not take years to resolve. The system is broken, but it is fixable. Victims deserve justice and real options to make them whole. Officers deserve clarity and great training. And taxpayers deserve better than feeding a broken legal machine. This new law creates accountability, reduces cost, and protects everyone, the public, officers, cities, and the justice system itself. If South Carolina can pass this, it can become a model for every state in America. If you support this type of reform, hit like and subscribe. Comment yes and hit the subscribe button if you want more videos on police accountability and training. If you would like a copy of this proposed law for your state, email me at the address below in the description. Now, I will be presenting this new law in the next couple of videos, giving detailed information on exactly how this law will work. Stay tuned and hit subscribe to be notified. I'm Tim, and I've been in the trenches. I've wrestled drunks at 2 a.m., and I've had to fight for my life. I've faced down armed suspects while trying to stay calm. And after all that, you get judged by people who've never stepped outside their comfortable office to see what policing really looks like. Real change starts with listening to the people who actually do the job. We can't fix policing until we fix the system around it, the incentives, the lawsuit machine, and the lack of investment in training. Thanks to all of our brothers and sisters behind the badge. Keep it going and we'll get this fixed. Stay safe and get as much training as you can. This is Real Talk, signing off until next time. Thanks for watching and drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you and be careful out there.